have two very special guests in here, and I don't know who to call first, but due to his schedule, Randy Waller, if we have just a minute. Randy is now the chair of the State Democratic Party. I'd like to ask him to have just a minute or two, and then I'd ask Representative Kelly Alexander in the room, who introduced our bill, along with Representative Kwesi Harrison. He'll have a minute after Randy.
I would just like to thank our legislators for introducing this bill. It's been introduced once before, and it takes courage, and I would call upon my peers in the Republican Party to unite with the Democrats and do what's right for North Carolinians and pass this bill. This is an important bill. It's part of our platform for the Democratic Party. It's been passed as a resolution multiple times. I think that the evidence is there, and what's going on across the country shows that what our presenter, Dr. Baker, put up there, that this is something that we can work together in all of our communities and is beyond partisanship, and should be something that this General Assembly can give back to the people of North Carolina. So thank you very much, Perry and others who worked on this issue. I think this would truly be something great for the state if we were to pass this during this legislative cycle. And I'd like to thank our representatives for having the courage to put this on the docket. Thank you very much, Paul.
Representative Kelly Alexander, I might say, people are screaming for cooperation once. This is nonpartisan. This bill affects everyone. And we need to have this passed. And the Democrats are going to work hard with the Republicans to do this.
I just want to reiterate that this is a nonpartisan bill. Please, while you're here today, talk to your representatives, Democratic, Republican, Independent, Whigs, Federalists, whatever they want to call themselves. Talk to them. And while you talk to them, I want you to stress a couple of things. Number one, I want you to stress that you are voters, that you are citizens of North Carolina. And that as voters, as citizens, as members of whatever political party you affiliate with, that you want your representatives to seriously consider this measure. You do not want it to go into the Rules Committee. We have a wonderful committee here called Rules and Operation of the House. It can be like a black hole. And you know, if you know anything about physics, you know, light goes in, nothing comes out of a black hole. Now that's where the bill is currently parked. Now there's nothing wrong with it being parked there in and of itself. It's only wrong if it stays there. Because and if you get a chance to, I urge you to let Mr. T. Moore, who is the chairman of that committee, know that you would like to have a hearing on this bill, a hearing that would enable people who are in favor of it, people who may be opposed to it, to come and to present their particular point of view. Now, it's important that you as citizens have the ability to ask Mr. Moore to do this. Now, I'm going to ask Mr. Moore to do this, but I want you to ask him also. Because as citizens, as people who are concerned by voicing this, you begin to let the people who have the decision-making power know that you are watching, that you know a little bit about the rules, and that you are prepared to engage in the long struggle in order to make sure that North Carolina becomes the 19th state to have a medical cannabis piece of legislation. I'm gonna tell you, my heart is glad as I stand up here and I see the numbers of people who have taken time out of their daily schedule to come up here and lobby your legislators and engage in this educational exercise. And yeah, it has grown. Because several years ago, we could have filled a nice phone booth.
Exactly.
And not only could we have filled a nice phone booth, people were laughing behind their, you know how it is when folk go, ooh, they're crazy. But I want you to know, 58% of the people in North Carolina favor medical cannabis legislation. 70% of the people in these United States of America favor medical cannabis legislation. This is a movement of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, it's always dangerous to give a politician a microphone. and before I get carried away, I'm going to turn this back over to Perry, but I do want to, is Pricey in the house? Price Harris? Is she in here? She's not in here yet. But I was going to give her an opportunity to say a few words if she was here. If she comes in later, Perry, I hope you will acknowledge her. Again, I want to thank you for coming up here today. I feel humbled and honored to be a part of this people's movement to try to get positive change in North Carolina. And I always remember, this year, for the very first time, newspapers, television stations, radio stations, all over North Carolina have been focused on this particular piece of legislation, have run stories about it, are taking it seriously. Well, heck, for the very first time, somebody from Colorado called my office and they wanted to know what's going on here in North Carolina. You know, and they said they're going to follow it. Together.
Amen.
Together. We can change North Carolina. Thank you very much.
For those of you who don't know, Representative Tim Moore, Chair of the Rules Committee, is in room 2301, which is on this floor, and this the bottom, the second floor of this room. His phone number is 733-5606. What they do is they try to figure out where this bill needs to go next. But the room number is 2301. It is in this building on the second floor. 2301. And in case you don't get to see it, his phone number is 919-733-4838.
That's Tim.
Tim Moore, the Chair of the Rules Committee. If you see in the paper next week that the bill is still languishing And the rules committee, you call and say, look, there's a lot of new health benefits. It needs to be in the health committee where it can be debated. And I don't want to take any more time. I would like the one person in a red coat to stand up, because she puts up with all my absences, all the times I'm talking about NCC 10. Her name is Gail Parks.
Oh,